Every year, it's part of Hollywood culture to honor the best movies of the year. A celebration for everyone involved in film, media, and its culture. It's a problem though, if you're a filmmaker and you've not seen any of the nominated movies. As of right now, it's just over 48 hours before the day of the Oscars. My girlfriend and I are going to watch the 8 single Best Picture nominees. And all of those movies total over 16 hours. And we'll need to review them, edit our videos, and have them published before the Oscars goes live. I've got enough time, haven't I? Right? It is now currently just gone 7, and already made a bit of a mistake. I was thinking about all of the films I was going to watch today and anticipating what I was going to feel. Probably couldn't get to sleep until maybe 5 a.m. So I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep. Update on that, I did the classic snooze and woke up 2 hours later.
It's 9?
It's 9. So actually, I think we should start off with something a bit light because it's like, we've had a bit of a tough year. We've not really had a lot of time to watch a lot of these Oscar movies, and so we should go in something a bit soft and easy. So we watched The Father, a film where we witness how dementia can destroy a man's life and his family.
It's okay. Is it about your watch? So, I cried a lot. Oh, it's gonna be such a depressing day.
I went into this film assuming this was a family drama about dementia. But in fact, this is a horror movie about dementia. We, the audience, experience the effects of the mental illness as he does, which is why this film is a horror film. Dementia is not just a disease for the person who suffers from it. It affects everyone. And we are seeing it from all perspectives.
No film plays with time quite like this one.
Yeah.
And it's because you're in his head. I think he even says there's 2 clocks, the one on my wrist and the one in my head.
And the fact that he keeps losing his watch means
he keeps losing his watch, so he keeps losing his head.
Anthony Hopkins was unbelievably devastating. This film was done masterfully. A horrific and tragic film in the best way possible.
But we have to move on to the next movie. We're gonna do this 6 more times and cry our eyes out. Are you ready?
I am already emotionally drained from that film.
Another one!
I have a soft spot for Aaron Sorkin. Aaron Sorkin is one of the rare filmmakers where he edits his film in the script. He knows what each line of dialogue is going to play out and how it would cut with the next line. It's beautiful. What I appreciate about Aaron Sorkin's writing, he likes to write action scenes, but as dialogue. He clearly has these really solid, great lines, like bombshell lines.
Give me a moment, would you, friend? I've never been on trial for my thoughts before.
And then he then goes, well, shit, now I have to write a scene to get that line in. When you watch his movies with that attitude, you can see it a mile away, where he wrote, oh my god, this line is genius, and then he had to figure out a way to make it work. However, that's also my issue with this film. Aaron Sorkin's writing style is so Aaron Sorkin that you're constantly reminded that you're watching Aaron Sorkin. That every time there's an Aaron Sorkin moment, you go, wow, that's so Aaron Sorkin. If you're constantly reminded that you're watching Aaron Sorkin, that's honestly a major problem, especially if your ending is incredibly cheesy and actually pretty awful. Great start, weak ending.
Let's talk about what we want to watch next. I'm thinking Judas and the Black Messiah because it is the same time period.
I also, again, don't know enough about the Black Panther movement. Let's use this film to help educate me about that time period. My naivety of this history is something I'm not proud of. After experiencing this story, I am ashamed not enough people do know the details of the Black Panthers. This film was a powerful and harrowing representation of Fred Hampton's life, but the real tragic history behind it made it excruciating to watch. I have to admit a little bit, I'm a bit speechless. The most impactful film that we watched so far. That was an intense, really just like teeth-gritting film. They fully explored identity, where you stand, and the allure of capitalism. There was this really, really fascinating subtext on how capitalism can influence and make you abandon who you are and your identity. Fully explored so much about everyone in that time period. I think achieved and represented it all in fantastic ways. The film was the most impactful, hard-hitting film I've watched in a long time. So that was a phenomenal film. Daniel Kaluuya as Fred Hampton was captivating, and Lakeith Stanfield's performance was just incredible. Let's look at the most Oscar bait film I have seen in years.
We're gonna watch Mank!
I love the fact that you knew that. David Fincher is one of the best directors today, so I went into this film expecting an easy home run. However, as I was preparing to settle into this film, we noticed a real serious problem.
You've got 1940s costumes, great. Black and white, great. 1940s accent, great. But then you degraded the sound quality so it'd sound 1940s.
I had them set you up out here so you wouldn't feel quite so confined.
Is that gonna happen throughout the whole film? Because if so, what the fuck?
I know what he's trying to do, trying to make it sound like it's a 1940s film. Like, that's a great idea.
For 2 minutes?
Yeah.
And then go back into regular sound design. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, this is a good creative decision, but I think it might be the wrong one. Despite that issue, we continued watching and used subtitles to help. However, when the film is this transparent in its intent to get an Oscar, it screams that the effort was for ego and shockingly lazy.
Only crusty old white guys would think a movie about crusty old white guys talking about making a film.
But for everyone else who's relatively normal, they don't give a crap about this film.
Hayden, what was the line that broke you?
You write for the movies because you're super at it.
Oh my god. You write for the movies because you're super at it.
That was obviously written by a screenwriter with no self-awareness.
This film is just a really pretentious circle jerk of about celebrating movies, and I'm not going to allow it. Give me a good film, not a film that's like, hey, love me. Just give me something entertaining. This isn't it.
Never have I ever seen a film sluttier for an Oscar.
This was the film I was the most looking forward to seeing, because there's an abundance of male antagonistic main characters, but not enough female. And bloody hell, they didn't pull any punches in challenging and taking advantage of normalized toxic misogyny for some truly unique cinematic experiences. That was quite a promising film, and I actually really enjoyed it.
I think this film could easily become a cult classic. There were a lot of tropes from like rom-com film, and then they get turned on their head at the end of the film, and I thought that was really, really well done.
That was the intent of the reason why a lot of these males were cast with comedians, because the comedians disarm you because they're naturally funny people, and so you trust these males a bit more.
They're nice guys.
Yeah, they're nice. They're nice guys.
Nice guys.
However, the casting the comedians meant the director had the hard job of reining in their normal cartoonish performances to something more serious, and it didn't work for all of them. While some were truly in their role, others completely failed to take this film seriously, which tainted the potential for this film. Regardless, I'm forgiving that flaw because this film was actually quite refreshing. I want more films like this. Alright, on to the next movie.
On to the next movie! We're like 6 films in, and I cried so much today. I just wanted that family to be okay.
This is the least flawed film I've seen in a long time. It's about their struggle to be both American and Korean, and how both sides challenge their identity to who they are and to who they want to be. It was a beautiful film. It was like engaging. I was invested in all of them. The child performances were fantastic.
Oh my god, that kid! How did they find that kid?
There's this really interesting line when you make a beautiful looking film where it's like, hey, look, I made a beautiful film. This film was beautiful without screaming at you that it was beautiful. This was another case where I forgot I was watching a film and just enjoyed the story. Minari is an incredible, beautiful family drama that is understated, real, and wholesome. A truly unique and astonishing film.
I think we have to maybe take a second and wipe the tears off. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm like
You're
delirious at this point. I'm like so emotional for this family.
I was so tired.
I'm so tired. So emotional.
So it's been officially over 17 hours of watching films, and we still had 2 to go. At this point, we're both physically and emotionally exhausted. However, we knew that we gotta keep trying.
We have energy drinks. It's okay. We'll figure this out. But I think we should take a good 10 minutes to recuperate.
To clear our minds of sadness, we watched some classic clips of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so that at 4 a.m. we would at least have a fighting chance.
We're watching Nomadland. Let's go.
Let's go!
Let's go!
We may have fallen asleep. We were watching the film, and really, really good, by the way, as we've been watching it so far. I'm pretty sure I was the first to go. I don't even remember doing it. I woke up and the film was over. Good morning.
Nomadland is truly the most loneliest film I have ever experienced. It explores how after a life of work, the American system fails her. There has been a massive theme amongst all of these films just exposing the bad sides of capitalism, exposing how it betrays so many people and only works for a select few. Just shows how they discard a lot of people who worked hard. The best way I could describe this film was painful peace. They were at peace of where they are and the life that they were living. They were still experiencing a tremendous amount of pain of the circumstance that they were in. And I've never experienced an emotion like that before. Optimistic hopelessness. I noticed that the film explored the theme that nomads have accepted what their life was and ready for death. And in between that realm, they allow themselves to have peace. They simply choose to exist and patiently wait to pass. However, when I spoke to others who saw the film, they saw an entirely different subtext. The theme for them was learning to accept loss and finding beauty in the world when you finally have nothing. And we're all right. This film is the most impressionistic in interpretation, and it makes it a truly beautiful film. Emotionally, I am exhausted, but...
Yeah, so we have to watch Sound of Metal.
We can do this.
Oh my god. I'm sure it's depressing too. Jesus, can they nominate at least a comedy next season? Like, come on.
Well, technically MANK was a comedy because that was downright awful.
Oh my gosh.
Despite failing the 24-hour challenge, we knew we had to make the Sound of Metal special. So we did something that we've not been able to do for almost a year. Since we're both fully vaccinated, we're finally able to comfortably go back to a public cinema. And I've got to tell you,
I have missed this.
I'm so at peace.
I felt like I was back at home, in time for me to watch The Sound of Metal.
This film was the perfect choice to go back to the cinema because this is the film where you truly do need to have the cinema sound system to truly experience the intent of this film. It's really common for the sound mixing to kind of be, it's a supporting role. It's meant to be supporting the whole film. This completely did the exact opposite, where the sound was the main role in this film. I wasn't watching this film, I was listening to this film. We truly were on that same journey, and Riz Ahmed's performance was quite possibly the most magnetic part of this film. He fully embraced this role, and it was just I am so tired and it's not doing it justice to how well I can describe this film, but I can't because I'm so exhausted.
The best way to describe the sound design is that during the brief moments where you experience Ruben's deafness, they somehow made it a thunderous silence. And that blaring silence was one of the most unique experiences I've had in film. The Sound of Metal is phenomenal.
I don't need to have emotions for the rest of this year because I just used all of them in the past 24 hours.
All of them.
I am just going to be emotionally stale for the rest of this year because this was exhausting.
It was really exhausting, but I also feel like it was really worth it because I don't think there has been a single year where I've watched all of the Best Picture nominees.
All of the films we've seen have been truly, truly heartbreaking. This whole experience was a truly incredible experience. All of these films that we watched, except for MANK, were truly worthy of winning this award. All of them have their own specific reasons as to why, and so I'm truly going to say all of them deserve to win the award.
Except me.
Except Mank.
And I'm here editing this part at 3 a.m. the morning of the Oscars to celebrate incredible films. We've done exactly that. Experiences that I would never have myself that I can through cinema. Ashley has made her own review of these films on her channel, Ashley J. Woods. Her perspective on film is fantastic, and you'll miss out if you don't see her videos. So go now.
This was quite possibly the best Oscar experience I've ever had.
It'll be even better when we win one, baby.
Hey!